With winter around the corner, cooler weather coming, I've been preparing my plants, my tender plants, to be wintered indoors. And among those are my begonias. And I have several begonias that people have given me. I don't know how to take care of them. So I've invited my friend Annette here to come and give me some tips and advice on how I can get them to thrive indoors and out of doors.
I call this the hurry-scurry time of year because we want these plants to be healthy outside and happy. And most of mine, I do take indoors, plant the whole plant. I don't take parts of them.
Yeah.
I take them all in. And there is a world of like 2,000
Wow.
varieties, zenus, all this that goes on with the begonias.
I didn't even know there were different real types. I knew there were multiple species. I didn't know there were different types. I just have some wax begonias,
Yes.
and I have some angel wings, but you've got a whole array on this table.
Yes, and you know, some of these I might not have exactly right what their type is. You can identify them by name sometimes, but what I have here are examples. Here's one, for instance. This is a rhizonal.
Oh.
See this,
Well,
how
it's
it
fuzzy.
comes up? Yes, but that's a different leaf.
Yeah.
This plant right here, this plant right here, I purchased in a garden center that was a little bit warmer area, and she told me that they had not found out what these two were.
They don't even know what type
Now,
they are.
and actually what I really wanted to see if maybe by chance they were perennial. And I have looked, and there are numerous books that will
Yeah.
you can flip them pages and pages and pages, but I never have found that these could actually be.
Yeah.
And then there's the Rex begonias.
Those are gorgeous. I love this
And
one.
you know the way they grow from the bottom of the base of the plant. See, and their leaves are lots of different colors. But one of the
Beautiful.
things that I like about these, they do bloom.
Oh, do they?
They actually do. And when
I would just grow them for this. This is
yes,
gorgeous.
and you know, and there's lots of different ways that you can extend how many you have just by propagating them yourself. Actually, this plant right here, this is I think it was called a green dragon.
Oh,
I have seeds for this one.
look at the stem on that.
Now,
That's
this
wild.
This is the rhizome.
Wow.
And I do have a picture of this one. It was in its heyday, shall I say.
Yeah.
Starting in January, this had a bloomscape that came up at least this high.
Wow.
And it had a very sturdy stem on it. And so it bloomed almost for 2 months. Now this is yours right
Yes,
here.
and this one's happy. I took him from cuttings last year, but I have others that aren't so happy. And one question I had was, since I'm about to clean these up and put them in the greenhouse, I usually will trim them off and keep some for cuttings. But should I pot them on now? These are pretty root bound. Maybe they're okay, but I know they suffer because in the winter when I take them out, they just look sad.
Yeah. So do you actually want it to grow some, or do you want it to sort of remain a little bit dormant when you take it in?
Slightly dormant.
Well, I think my personal opinion is if you were to divide this and repot it, it might encourage it to regrow.
To grow too much?
So I think I might wait till the later months, like February.
And then repot.
Because you can tell when spring is coming, our plants are going to tell us. I don't care where they are.
That's true.
They'll start that new growth.
Everything in the greenhouse starts blooming.
You can time it. You know when it's coming. Well, now, for instance, this begonia right here is called Marmaduke. And you see
Oh,
how
that's
it's
nice.
growing on a rhizome?
It's another with fuzzy stems.
Yes. I actually got that from a friend down in Jackson, Tennessee.
Oh, and look at the light shining through that leaf. That's gorgeous.
See, now, I am fortunate enough to have, what you need to have is an eastern window in the wintertime. Of course, we know the sun is going to rotate and it's going to go to the south. So all of these in my home will get southern exposure and eastern exposure until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, and that's adequate light for them in
Yes.
the winter. Indoors, do these keep their red color?
Oh, yes, they do.
Awesome.
And this particular one, I was at a certain big box store in like May, a couple of years ago, and they had one of these, and it was blooming, and it was pink, and it's almost like a falling star. The petals open and point out downward.
Wow.
And I
pretty.
took it home and set it beside my little chair out on my little porch, and it bloomed nonstop. All summer, I took it inside. I put it back behind the plant. I forgot about it. And I looked at it one day in the dead of winter, and all of the greens were just flopped over. Well, I took them off and forgot about it. Well, wasn't long when spring started to come. Out of the base of that plant came the new plants, and I kept it for like 2 years.
So do you use any sort of special soil mix or watering routine with these indoors in the winter or in the summer months? I mean, I know they need quite a bit of moisture generally. But...
Well, I actually find that I might let them dry out.
Okay.
And I try not to leave them sitting in a coaster that has standing water. And I might add like a fourth a cup to a half a cup of water. But your plants, even though they're inside, they're going to tell you when they start to just wilt down a little, and you're going to know. And
most plants, when you do overwinter them, do need less water. And I know that begonias can get root rot. I don't have that problem because I very seldom water them, and which is why they sulk in the summer.
Yes.
But what you're telling me is what I've been doing. Isn't that wrong?
No, it's not. It is not. And what I think that I want to say that to encourage someone to grow begonias like this is, I can't count the ways of why I love them.
And they're so easy. I mean, they are so easy. I am very neglectful begonia owner.
Yes.
I don't even fertilize them, and I know that's something good for you to do periodically, a slow release
one.
Yeah.
Here's a little tip. If they do get leggy, now this is a branch off of my hairy lotus walking stick.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty.
I had to cut it off.
Support, that's a pretty support.
Yeah, so I do that with lots of things. I might use dogwood branches.
Because some of the cane begonias will get really tall and skinny too, won't
I have
they?
some of those.
And those are good to prop up with something like this.
April, I brought you a present.
Oh!
This is a perennial begonia.
Oh, yours is a lot prettier than mine, Annette.
Well, let me tell you about, if you'd hold this box, let me just stand it up for you and show you. This is a special begonia from a special friend that passed away.
At that.
And I want you to look right down here at the base. You see these little nods?
Yeah.
Right, nodes, whatever, nodules right in here.
Yeah.
This is how it propagates itself.
Okay, it grows from those.
Yes, and I see how that has a, look at that. That looks like somebody has a walnut in there.
Yeah, it looks like a walnut.
Okay, that's part of last year's. And so they come up from that. But I have a sneaky suspicion that on these, in these flowers, let's turn it.
Because these are rhizomes, right?
Yes.
So it's a little bit the way that irises do, actually.
I have a feeling that inside this bloom, and this one right here, it's about to go by. You see how it's winged and it's like a little triangle there?
Oh, that's pretty.
Inside there are seeds.
Oh.
So I think it is traveling both by the stolons that come off of here.
See, I didn't know they'd do that.
Well, this is spread about 8 feet from its original planting place.
Well, it sure is pretty. So one thing I had a question about, I haven't really studied them because I've grown them and they just grow, is, you know, what part of, I think these are from tropical areas, not zone 9A or 10B. And so most of these we wouldn't be able to grow outside, just the one species, I think.
The example I showed you of the pink, and you can find a white one.
Yeah.
And then
those can grow in the ground year round here, but none of these.
Right. And you know, actually your strawberry begonia can be grown as a hanging basket.
Yeah, that's exactly the way my mom grew them. So
I think I have a dream that I would like to go where these are growing on their own without us.
That would be amazing.
Without the touch of man, and to see them in their natural habitat, I can only imagine.
I think one of my begonia goals is to actually break down and grow the tuberous ones that my mother grew, because I didn't want to grow them for the years because I thought it was pretty fiddly. She had to take those little tubers out and she had to cut them apart and clean them and store them for the winter, like you could do with dahlias sometimes. And it just seemed like a lot of work, but they are really pretty. So maybe that's one I should add to mine.
Yeah, and I think that under this one is a tuberous.
Yeah.
It has
the leaf shape. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So
awesome.
Anyway, they're a wonderful plant. They're diverse, actually, whether we think they are or not.
Oh, over 2,000 or almost 2,000 species.
Yes. Let's don't go there.
I don't think so. If you love gardening, you'll want to subscribe to our channel. Home gardening tours, tips from growers, and lots of plants. Until next time.